Dear students, welcome to part 2 of module 1 A407 Digital Control System. This is being presented by Vimal Kumar V, Department of Applied Electronics and Instrumentation, Rajari School of Engineering and Technology. In this presentation, we will be seeing block diagram of digital control system. Actually, we will be reviewing that in greater details, and we will see a part of that, that is the sample and hold circuit in detail. So this is the block diagram of a digital control system with sufficient details. First of all, a set point has to be given. Okay, a set point is given, that is the input, and the output at the end of the sequence of block is and the output that we want to control, and that is coming out from something that is called process. So the process is something that we need to control so that the output from the process is matching with the set point that we are giving. So that is the input and output that we know. Now let us delve into the details. Now the output of the process is sensed by a transducer or sensors, and that is an analog signal, usually an analog signal, and that is fed back, and it is compared with the analog value of the set point. So you will get an error, and that will be fed into something called as sample and hold circuit. See, we are using a digital controller, but we know the error we have obtained is in analog form. Thus we need to convert that analog form of error into a digital form before we can give it to the digital controller. So anyway, we will be requiring an ADC or analog to digital converter, that is indicated by the block in between sample and hold circuit and the digital controller. But then what is the function of sample and hold circuit? See, the ADC or analog to digital converter takes a finite amount of time to convert the signal at its input to a digital value, and during the conversion, if the input signal changes, that can cause problems. So there is a need to maintain the level of signal at the input of ADC constant until the ADC completes the conversion of analog signal to digital signal. Okay, so you require another block or another circuit that will maintain a constant value, or that will take in the error, that is the analog value of error, sample it at a particular instant of time, and then maintain it constant till the next sample arrives. Okay, so the sample and hold circuit will sample in the input signal and maintain that constant until the next sample arrives. So in this process, the ADC gets sufficient time to convert the signal to digital form. Then it can give that to the digital controller. Okay, now the digital controller generates the control signal. Now you need to give that get that in the analog form. Digital controller, see, the digital controller is generating codes. Okay, digital codes. Now that has to be converted into an analog form. Okay, that has to be converted into an analog form. Now again, generating only analog signal won't be sufficient, because what we obtain may be what we obtain will be of a discrete time signal. So again, that has to be changed back to a continuous time signal. For that you have another circuit called hold circuit. Okay, we will discuss the hold circuits in greater detail. After that we get continuous value and continuous time signal, the perfect analog signal to be given to the actuator, and this actuator in turn affects the process so that we obtain the desired output, and the cycle continues. And here we can see ADC, digital controller, DAC, all are usually controlled by clock cycles. Okay, now let us see sample and hold circuit in detail. So one of the application of sample and hold circuit is for freezing the input and keeping it constant until the next sample comes in, and it is also used in multiplexers so that yeah, it can be provided, that is it can hold the signal until the next value is required. And also it is also used in peak detectors. So there are actually three applications for sample and hold circuit. Now we will see how this works. So it is a combination of actually sampling and also holding. Let us see what these actions are. A sampler is a device that converts an analog signal into a train of amplitude modulated pulses. See, it generates a train of pulses. Now these pulses have an amplitude that is proportional to the input signal. That is why we are calling it amplitude modulated pulses. Now a hold device freezes the value of the pulse or digital signal for a prescribed time duration. Okay, we have discussed that already. Now this is a circuit implementation of a sample and hold circuit. The switch closes at constant intervals. Okay, fixed intervals. The switch closes and then opens. Okay, so it is equivalent to sampling the signal. Now the capacitor gets charged, and when the switch open it provides the given charge to the output. So when the switch is closed, the capacitor gets charged from the input signal Es of t through Rs and C. So the capacitor gets charged to the Es value. Okay, if Rs is 0, it should attain the value of Es instantaneously, ideally speaking. Uh, so what happens is that this is the circuit implementation of sample and hold circuit. Let us see how this let us review the input and output signals of this. See, the switch is controlled by a clock pulse. You can see the clock pulse, and the switch where it is written sample has a width of p seconds. That means that uh, uh, the switch is closed for p seconds. Actually p may only be a fraction of a second or so. So then after that uh, the switch is open. So when we close the switch, we say that we are sampling the input signal. That is because the output signal is will be actually following the input signal. Okay, here the input signal or sample signal is Es of t, and the output signal here is Eo of t. Okay, so here we can see at Ts time, at the instant Ts, we are actually closing the switch. Okay, then what happens is that uh, the output appears. Okay, output will appear, but actually if the p is 0, the output will be fixed at that particular instant itself. That is, it will be held back at that particular instant itself, but practically it is not possible. So after p seconds, the output E of t will be held constant. So the holding action takes place after a time p, after the sampling takes place, after p seconds after the time after the sampling takes place. Let us see. These are the graphs. So you can see at ts second, at the time when t is equal to ts seconds, the switch closes. You can see the sample pulse there. Now what happens is that uh, it starts following, the output starts following the input, and after p seconds, or and the output e of t becomes fixed, that is, it is maintained constant because the switch has opened, and uh, the capacitor has been charged to the previous value. So now the voltage does not change, it is remains as constant as before. Now during the next sampling instant, the same cycles repeat. And now please listen, this was an ideal case, that is when RS, it actually what happens is that it is not as simple as that. In practical circuits we have finite time delay problems, that we will see that in detail. See here, we have the practical system, almost practical system, with the clock pulse, which we call it sample command. Okay, sample command. And equivalently, what happens is that when the sampling command is given, the switch may not be closed at that particular instant. It will take some time for the switch to actually close after the sampling command is given. Okay, now we have certain delay times defined for the details. So first of all, let us see the sample command we have already discussed, that can be seen at the bottom, and we have the input signal es of t, that is shown by the continuous dark line at the top. Now again we have the ideal output and we have the actual output. Ideal output refers to the case when the system is as in the previous slide, that is when Rs is equal to 0, but usually Rs may not be equal to 0, and ideal cases may not be the case. That is, ideal case is a case when the sample and hold circuit behaves in a way that when sample command is given, then suddenly the output becomes equal to the input signal, and when the hold command is given, the output is maintained at the just previous value. Okay, so there is no delay involved in the ideal case, but the practical case is different, and there are certain specification like aperture time, and then settling time, etc. So we will see that in detail. First of all, we will be discussing about acquisition time TA. As can be seen, from here, acquisition time TA is measured from the time the sample command is given. Okay, you can see that the sample command is given, and correspondingly changes occurs place at the output as is outlined by the blue line. Okay, see the time instant is marked by the blue line onto the top curves. So the out, if the ideal case, if the circuit was ideal, it will jump to the input signal at that particular instant when sample command is given. But ideal output is different from the actual output, that is represented by E of t. It will take some time to reach the actual input. Okay, so we define a time called TA, or acquisition time. It is measured from the time the sample command is given and the time at which the output remains within a particular error band of the input signal. Suppose we will define TA as the time which the output takes to reach within 1% error band of the input signal. Okay, so that is how acquisition time TA is defined. Next one is aperture time TP. As can be seen here, we can see uh, TP is something which we want to refer after the hold signal is given. That is, the switch is actually we are supposed to find out when the hold command is given and when actually the switch is opened. Okay, so when hold command is given, actually in the ideal case the switch should be opened at that particular instant, but if certain time delays are involved, the system will behave in such a way that the open condition is achieved only after some time TP. So this time TP is called aperture time. So actually aperture time is the time between start of hold signal and the time at which output signal is maintained stationary, or in a better way we can say it almost behaves as if the switch has been opened, because in practical case it won't be maintained stationary at that point. Some transients will be involved. So we can see here, we can see the ideal output. For the ideal output we can see when hold command is given, uh, suddenly the ideal output becomes constant. Okay, the ideal output is represented by the tick line, the curve on the top. So we can see when hold command is given, the output curve is correspondingly marked by the blue line. Okay, output curve is correspondingly mapped by the blue line, and at that time the ideal output becomes constant. But if you see the practical output, that is not the case. For clarity, let us see the next slide. See, the practical output is highlighted here by the red marker, and we can see that after the hold signal is given, after the time for the blue vertical line, after the time of the blue vertical line, the highlighted red signal does not become constant. Okay, it becomes constant only after, actually it behaves as if it is responding to a constant value only after a time TP. This time TP is called the aperture time. It is the time between the start of hold signal and the time at which the output signal is in response correspond to the opening of the sampler. It is the time between the start of hold signal and the time at which the output signal response correspond to the opening of the sampler. Now we are looking at settling time TS. See, we have changed from sample state to hold state. Okay, sample state the switch was closed, and in the hold state switch was open. Okay, switch has gone through a transition. Now when it goes through a transition, there are certain oscillations involved that can be clearly seen in the output. Now the time taken for this oscillation to settle down within an error band of the final value is called the settling time, that is represented by TS. Now there is something called hold mode droop. That is, during the hold, actually in ideal case the voltage should not change, it should be maintained as such, but there are certain leakage, and because of that the voltage reduces slightly. We can see the highlighted curve, that is the red highlighted line, comes down as indicated by the droop, that is its voltage reduces during the hold period. Okay, so this is mainly due to leakage currents with FET switch. We are using an FET switch for switching on and off, and also the input circuit of the buffer amplifier. Now this can be reduced. For that, we can use a buffer amplifier with high input impedance at output of the sample and hold circuit, and we can use an input buffer amplifier so that we can keep the input current of sample and hold device relatively constant. So this is the diagram. This is a block diagram and a curve corresponding to an ideal sample and hold circuit. You can see when sample command is given. Okay, when sample command is given, the output E of t value changes, and then it is held constant from that time instant itself. Okay, so this is the response of a ideal sample and hold circuit with its block diagram. Thank you.